Welcome to the Point of Truth podcast, hosted by Jay.
Oh, tell me the truth, your truth. Tell me the truth. I wanna know the truth. So tell me the truth.
Hello, you beautiful souls. I hope that you are well. It's bright and early here on the West Coast. And I have a special guest today. Her name is Nani Montoya. I had an opportunity to interview her in Glendale when we recorded in the studio. And I felt as if it was a little rushed because it was a chaotic day a little bit. And you know what's so interesting is that you really can't tell in those podcasts how chaotic it was, but it was a little chaotic for me, to be honest. I mean, I interviewed a lot of people that day, and it's just, that being mindful of who I'm interviewing. And I think we were so rushed at the end that maybe that I think I was so pressed like time, right? We were already going over. And as you know, in that business, time is money, right? So I wanted to invite her back in so that we can kind of fuse both conversations together so that you can kind of really get an idea of her truth, right? What struggles that she's gone through in her life and how that is basically funneled into her art and how she uses those experiences to really just convey that in her art. So, Nani is a distinguished Mexican-American artist. She is hailing from Orange County, California. She's deeply proud of her Mexican heritage, and she intricately weaves this into her art. And her art is so beautiful. She just got done doing I think it's a traffic box. We'll talk about it, but she just got done doing that, so that'll be something new that we're going to talk about. And she's such a beautiful soul. And to just sit down with her and just hear her struggles, like I can relate to some of those struggles because I went through those similar struggles. Whether you're a truth seeker, whether you're out here talking about things that are going on in our society, or whether you're an artist or a painter or a producer of music, if you're a singer, you're a songwriter, doesn't matter what genre. That's what it's all about. It's to come out here and create. If you're a writer, it's really what it's about. Is just to take that, talk about your story, because there's been this separation, and now the Spirit of God is bringing us together, and it's the most amazing thing to be a part of, to experience, to observe. And what brings us together is commonalities. And when we realize that a lot of us go through the same things, right? We go through these similar situations. They're different, obviously, because everyone has their own unique experience, but yet there's similarities that you can kind of vibe with someone. Wow, I didn't know that, or wow, I didn't think of it like that. So I have Nani on, and I think today we're going to go deep. I want to really get into some of the struggles that she went through in her life and how that how she funnels that into her art and where she wants to go with this, and what are her dreams and aspirations, because at the end of the day we can make anything happen. You just have to step out. That's really what it is. It's stepping into our greatness, stepping out on a leap of faith, and just doing it. Sometimes you have to step out, fall a little bit, and fail, and failure is not a bad thing. And then you jump back on board and you go at it full steam ahead. You learn from what you learn from your failures, and you just keep moving. And that is the definition of success, folks. Most successful people have failed multiple times. And they get to a point where they're successful and they're out here in the mainstream, and you think, oh yeah, it happened easy. And it doesn't happen easy for some people that really are out here doing the work and doing great things for humanity. So without further ado, let's see where Nani's at. Everyone, I have Nani on. Hi, Nani.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very, very well. How are you?
Oh, I am good. I am good. It's good to be up. And I'm an early riser nowadays myself. So I was like, yes. When you said 7 a.m., I was like, yes,
Perfect.
let's do it. That's perfect, because it's a good start to the day, right?
An early start is always better, to be honest.
Yeah. So I was listening to our podcast, and I felt like there were pieces and parts of that podcast that were a little rushed, right? And I wanted you to have an opportunity to really talk about your story and what really kind of got you, where you were and where you are now, and just kind of get into that and kind of dig into some of the things that that have inspired you in your life, some of those pains and those traumas and those things that we go through, that we're healing from. Because I want to promote mindfulness. So I'm a mindfulness coach. I think that it's so important to kind of specialize, because if you're general, you can be anything, right? But if you specialize, I think you really kind of set yourself apart. So the whole thing for me in my spiritual journey has been that mindfulness. To the moment of okay, think about what you're saying before it comes out of your mouth, that kind of thing. Think about the thoughts in your head, and being mindful about things. And when we can be mindful and in the present, this is where we learn to forgive ourselves, forgive others, heal. And it's a beautiful thing. So people are starting to share their experiences. They're starting to share the things that they've gone through, their experiences, the circumstances that they've been in their life that have kind of provided a catalyst for them to move forward. And so this podcast is an opportunity for people to really just come on and talk about their story, because at the end of the day, we have a lot in common, right?
That is very true.
We have a lot in common.
That is very, very true.
We focus so much on what we're different. Oh, we're different from this, and I have this, and your people, and all this stuff. And it's like, well, wait a minute, though. We have things in common, which is,
and we're not all alone.
Right. It's what we have in common is suffering, right? We have this thing called suffering that we go through in life sometimes, and that's really what it's about in this amazing race that is called life. And when we realize, wow, I really do have a lot in common, right?
Yeah,
with this person or that person, and then you're really kind of you're bonding on a soul level versus this external. right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we've been so like programmed external, it's what you look like, or are you the difference is that person looks different from you, or whatever. These differences, when we connect on a soul level, we see each other at a soul level. So
Yeah, definitely. I
yeah,
agree
so
with that.
I wanted to have you back on, just kind of dive into that. Talk about the box. Ah, beautiful. So
Oh,
the
thank
box that, yeah,
you.
the traffic box that you just got done painting. Oh my God, gorgeous.
So it's actually a vinyl artwork. So it's
Nice.
what the city does is they do a vinyl sticker and they get the contractors, and the
Okay.
contractors is the one that put the sticker over the box. I think it's better that way because when
Yeah.
I did go and paint in LA on the box, it was hardcore and a lot of work on my body and stress.
Yeah.
So this one just made it so much more simpler and easier for me. And also it looks so
Cool.
shiny and like
Yeah.
glossy. So it looks really nice. And I think it'll last longer too as well.
Okay, so share with the listeners, where is the traffic box? That
It's off on it's in Costa Mesa and
okay.
it's off on Harbor Boulevard and Harbor Center.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
Yes,
That's
that's
so
in it.
cool. I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking I'm actually most likely going to come into town like mid-July, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay in Orange County because there's some folks down there that I want to interview, and
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah,
That's
so
perfect timing. You can
yeah,
definitely, because I picked that spot because there's the Mercado Gonzalez of Norgate. It's that brand new one. So that street is busy. So I was like, okay, this is a perfect spot because it has Conchitas. Norgate's right there.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
busy street, so more people can see, you know?
yeah,
So that's exactly why I chose that spot. It was for a reason. And I got lucky because not all the time it's always a yes, you know, there's a lot of rejection as well. So
yeah.
I was just more than happy to able to showcase my art in front of people.
I think that is so amazing. That's like major visibility right there. That's such a busy
Mm-hmm.
area. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That's so
Yes, I loved
amazing.
it. I loved it. It came out really, really nice. So
Nice.
happy with it.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, I'm
So
so glad.
what else do you got going on?
So right now, I'm just kind of working on art shows.
Okay.
Just try to build up my portfolios more and more as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I love to do is paint portraits, but like
Mm.
my heritage, the whole Mexican look with their pretty dresses,
Yeah.
their actual like texture of skin, like their color and everything. So and then I also like to add in symbolism. So like one of my paintings I did it was like a Mexican Independence Day, and I put like a woman, and then her background was red because it's for the color of like freedom, representing that. And also I wanted to add hummingbirds because it's my mom's. So the town where she lives, it's called the town of hummingbirds. So that's why I added the hummingbirds as well to incorporate the Mexican Independence Day. So I just think of ideas, anything to do just to represent my heritage because I'm so proud of it and I love it so much.
I'm telling you, your art is just so beautiful. It's so vibrant.
Thank you.
Just it tells a story. It really is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, we sat down in Glendale, and that was a crazy day for me. So many things, like I had to pivot because we had guests that had to flip around and switch and stuff. And so, and we got towards the end, and we were running out of time, and I felt so rushed. So I
Yeah.
just I wanted the wanted you to have an opportunity to really just kind of get into you know the Nani today and talk about that journey between what was the catalyst for the change.
So so when I was like around 18 or 19, I was in a very toxic relationship and I had a lot of anxiety. So the only way for me to get out of that anxiety was I was at my grandma's house and I would just draw all the time. I went back to drawing. So those were the difficulties I had to deal with. And then also I had to heal from that relationship, which I didn't know how. I didn't even know that stays with you. And so I just was lost ever since then for like a couple years. And I resulted in just going out, partying, drinking, and it would just, I was going nowhere. And then I lost my art and I forgot about it. And then finally, as soon as quarantine happened, I went through another breakup. I went back to my art. And all of a sudden, I just woke up and I just started drawing every day, started painting every day, found because my anxiety was still there. I still had that anxiety, built up anxiety. So that was the only way I was able to calm my anxiety, by just being focused and putting my mind somewhere else. That was my peace. And I stopped drinking for a long time. I changed my food habits as well. I did do veganism for 1 year because I was just trying to do what I can to just better myself mentally, physically, and emotionally. And it also comes down not to like, also not only about what you watch and stuff, but it's also about your food, what you eat, what you're doing, who you're socializing with. So a lot of things changed during that time, you know?
The content that you're taking in, whether you're watching the mainstream media, if you're, social media, these things like, and especially when we're not mindful of it, it can really, there's a psychological component to it, right? And it is truly psychological warfare that we're seeing. It's truly, this biblical thing that we're seeing, and it really is all about like just getting into a place where your mind is just healthy, right?
Yeah, and then at one point when because I worked for an engineering company, and I was still doing my art, but I was kind of like, maybe I should go back to school because I need to do something for like a career-wise, because I wasn't thinking my art was a career.
Right.
I had it in my head that it wasn't. So I was trying to go back to school to try to do like some type of engineering. Yeah. And my boss saw how miserable I was. Because I wasn't, at that time, I was so busy with school that I didn't even get to work on my art at all. Yeah. And he saw my face and he goes, honestly, he goes, if I were you, he goes, because I changed my career twice. He goes, because I wasn't happy with the first one. He goes, life is short. He goes, do what you want to do and what you love. And I was just like, why am I going to force myself to fit into a bubble where I don't fit? I'm forcing myself to be this person because I want people to see me that way. So like, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm not happy. So I ended up just quitting school again and then just stay focused on my art as much as I can. And that's when I started just submitting myself to little things. And then I realized there's actually a whole world of an art world out there with so many opportunities that I didn't see before, because I was so blinded because I didn't think it was a good profession to pursue as well. And so when I saw that, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this makes me happy. Like, this is my purpose. Because otherwise, why is it so easy for me to draw a person or paint a person? Because I can pick up on things really quick. And they say that when you know what you can pick up on real quick, it means that's what you're supposed to do in life, So that's where I found, where I was like, okay, this is what I chose to do. And then I started developing more of my art skills. I did go to art school for one point. I was just trying different things, mediums of what I liked. But what I really, really enjoy is oils. I love oils. It's expensive, but I love oils. And that's how I came up with portrait painting, because I was like, wow, I can actually really paint a person really easily. Like, it's not hard for me, Yeah. So over the years, I just developed that craft. And then more and more, I just been trying to find those opportunities. Yes, there's a lot of rejection. It does get hard sometimes, but I mean, that's just part of the process. It's what they say. Everybody was doing it. Everybody would keep doing it, So that's
It takes a special person, right? To really just to block all that out, to block all the criticism out, the rejection, and understand, you know what, I believe in myself, because once you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, eventually it's like, boom, you're in the flow, right? And so just, you know, you're doing the right thing by just keeping moving forward and tapping into your greatness. And that's such an amazing, it's such an amazing experience, isn't it?
And I enjoy it so much. Like, this is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm so glad that this is what I'm always constantly about every single day, my art, my art, my art. Yes, I do work, and I work at corporate, and I do like my job. But I'm glad that helps me too. Having that job helps me also with my art, because I get to buy the things that I want, the things that I need, so I'm able to submit to art shows. Because they're not cheap either. Art shows can get expensive as well when you submit.
So talk to me about that. So when you submit to an art show, like, give me
What's
an
the process?
example. Yeah, what's the process?
So the process for an art show is you can submit up to 3 to 4 types of work. They ask you for the size, how much you want to sell them for. But there's also a fee when it comes to them. It depends on what art show, but there's just one, that an all-girl art show that I wanted to do. So that was about, I think it was like $130
Yeah,
for a fee, you know?
yeah,
But the cool thing about them is that majority of them will say, okay, if your art gets sold, 100% of those funds will go to you. So that's
nice.
the good thing about it.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, that's cool. So I like girl group art shows. I did
yeah.
recently was the one at LA art show. That was pretty nice too. They do it like every Thursdays, and they have like a DJ going on, and then they have different galleries
Wow.
open so you can walk around the street. It's
So,
really cool.
so the one in LA, that's every month?
Every month on the
Oh,
Thursday.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
every month.
so, wow, I didn't know that. See, there's a whole new world, right? That you don't even realize.
No, there's just so much. Like, I sign up for all the newsletters because there's stuff in Laguna all the time.
Oh,
Like in
wow.
Orange County, Costa Mesa, they're like, hey, they're so nice because the city of Costa Mesa will start sending me emails now that saying that they have their art shows as well. So
Right.
once you even get your foot in the door, it actually helps and exposes you because these people know your art and seen you before. So the more and more they start emailing you, hey, I have this open, I have this open.
Nice.
So it works out. And honestly, the art industry is kind of small. Like, it's a small world. You
Yeah.
think it's huge, but it's actually a small world.
Wow.
So it's pretty incredible.
It's so amazing, right? Like, it's a small world. At the same time, it's this vastness, right? There's so much. There's so many possibilities, so many things going on, and it is truly, truly interesting.
No,
So,
definitely.
so what do you have planned? What's coming? What's going to be coming up in the next 6 months, next year? Like, what do you, anything big?
Well, right now I'm trying to juggle because I don't know if you remember, but I still was doing acting as well as my art.
Yes.
So I had been busy. It's been busy with the scripts because you have to memorize these scripts and then you have to do a whole video of yourself doing the scripts and then submitting. But I did one last year. It was for pilots. It's called Pulse. So we filmed that a year ago, and then I got accepted in the LA Film Festival. That was last week. Yeah, it was last week. It was an LA Film Festival, and actually it was really cool because I've never been to the LA Festival, you know. That's something you get like kind of invited to, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you can buy tickets to watch the shorts, you know. So that was really neat to work on set, and then I also love doing it because you always get to meet people, and you don't know who you might meet as well.
You never
because the whole point is networking, you know. So that's another thing why I do it too, because like I never know who I might meet when it comes to my art too as well.
Absolutely.
But it's a sci-fi short. It's a sci-fi short, and it got nominated for Best Episodic from the LA Film Festival. So that was really neat.
Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
did that last
So
week, and I
cool.
took my friend with me. I was like, hey, can you come with me, go watch it? And then we went, and I said hi to everybody. They were so sweet. Everybody's so nice. I haven't met anybody that hasn't been mean, in those industries.
Yeah.
But honestly, I ended up meeting really cool people on there. So that was fun.
That's
And then I
so
have to
cool.
film actually on Tuesday, coming up Tuesday, up
Yeah.
and towards, it's called Peru, California. I thought,
Is it
never
up,
knew.
is it up north?
It's towards Thousand Oaks,
Oh,
next to it, and
Peru.
it's called Peru. Isn't that crazy? Passing Six Flags.
I've never heard of Peru, California. So it's up towards Thousand Oaks?
Yeah, that's where it's passing Six.
Okay.
Never,
Wow.
yeah. But it's a small town, so then I have that. So at least I have little stuff going on. They're not like big
Yeah.
things, but they're little things that are getting me a little bit foot in the door, So yeah, we're just, honestly, I feel like I'm playing this game called life, seeing how far I can go. Cause I don't want to set myself any expectations of where to be or nothing. I'm just kind of like, let's have fun. Let's see how far you can get.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to play.
And you know what? And when you like release all seriousness, right? Like stop being so serious about it and just kind of it's this surrender, right? It really truly is this surrender to, okay, I'm going with it.
Yeah. You just surrender.
Like I'm doing it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna believe in myself and sky's
Just
the
have
limit.
fun.
Yeah, just have fun, right?
Just
Because
have fun.
life can be fun. Sure, there's all this stuff going on, but attention where our attention goes, that's where our energy flows, right? So if our attention is on something that's bad, that's where our energy is going to be, and it's going to be bad. So if we can focus on the things that bring us joy and that really are serving our purpose.
And honestly, for whatever reason, I never used to have discipline when I was younger, but I like the discipline at this age because it teaches me how to mentally be strong as well. So it's like I like to wake up early. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure my room is always clean because bad energy happens when your room is dirty. And I can't work when my room is dirty. It has to be nice and clean. Everything has to be good. My studio needs to be great. And then I fit in also my art stuff. And this is when I was like, okay, the weekends is when I'm focused on my art. And then also it's not always just painting. Like I have to video record. I have to video edit. I do YouTube videos. So I always submit my videos as well on YouTube, putting my, like what I did to finish this painting, my process. And, so it's like, it's not just, I wish it was just art, but I also think of the marketing strategy and also the business side. You have to go network and stuff. So I enjoy these little things. I enjoy the disciplines. And honestly, I'm just having fun with it at this point because I don't want to take it too serious because I did in the beginning where I was just work, serious. And I was burnt out. I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, I can't be doing this because I always burn out within like a couple months and I'm miserable and I start crying.
Right.
So
you're so stressed out, and I hear you, girlfriend.
But I do try to make time to at least, like, if I wake up early in the morning, I'll go for like a hike or something to do outside where I get some sun. And that helps set the mood, set the tone. And then I'm like, okay, I can be at home all day to paint because I got at least 2 hours of sun.
Right. You got all that sun. Now you can work. But it's not necessarily work, right? It's something that you love, right?
It's something that I enjoy,
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's amazing.
So discipline really does count for a lot of things.
Discipline is such a good thing because it cultivates this consistency, right? That we as human beings need, and we as human beings operate at our highest potential when we are disciplined.
Yes.
Right? Because it's like, okay, no, I can't do that. That doesn't align with where I'm going.
Like honestly, I stopped watching TV for a really, really long time,
Yeah.
especially when quarantine hit. Didn't watch any more TV. Was just so focused on making YouTube videos and my art that everything was non-existent because that was my main focus, to try to see how far I can get ahead. And honestly, that helped me a lot during quarantine, get ahead a lot in my art, you know? So, and even though people were like, yeah, I just dressed up my pajamas, I was like, no, I woke up first thing in the morning, worked out, got ready and dressed like if I was not going to the office, but I was just nice because it sets the tone for the day, how you start your day, you know? And that's exactly what I was just focused on, my art. I still watch once in a while, like a movie here or there, but I don't know what it is. I think I have a short attention span now because I'm so focused on like what I need to paint. Like I need to fix this, I need to do this, you know?
Right.
So it's just, I prefer other things, my art, rather than just other entertainment things as well.
You know, at the end of the day, it's pretty much all a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can only control what is in front of us. Control what we can control, and that's part of what it is, right? These are things that we can control and cultivate this discipline, which then cultivates consistency, and that gets you on the path of greatness. So cool. So a little bit of talking more about your acting. You had the opportunity to be in the film that Khalil Siam was filming. Khalil, you know, is a really good friend of mine. I've known him for probably 11 years now.
Oh, yeah, he's so sweet. He's such a nice person. He's sweet.
And so you had an opportunity to appear in his film, The Point of the Pen.
That's so weird.
Talk to me about that experience.
Okay, so this was actually, it was weird how we met, how we crossed paths.
Yeah.
He was filming someone else at that time, and he does music. Mm-hmm. And it was another person who was my friend named Jay. But we haven't met in person. We've only spoke to each other over Instagram for like a couple years. Until finally, it was last minute. I think it was right after I stopped filming Pulse. Yes, right after I started filming Pulse, which just came out. And Jay calls me up and he's like, hey, he goes, would you like to meet in person? Because we're doing a film and, you know, I want you to help me out with the script or whatever, or just be part of it, you know, to talk to him as a friend. Yeah. Like, and he goes, we're going to be in LA if you want to come tonight. I was like, a girl by myself going to LA? Yeah, let's do it. I was like, I get to be in a film. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Why not?
You know, why not?
Yeah.
You guys, what can happen?
Look at you stepping in.
You know, but I mean, it wasn't like Jay's never made me feel uncomfortable or nothing like that, you know, because I feel like I've talked to him over the years. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's meet up. And that's how I met Khalil, because he was filming. And then I started talking to him more, and then I told him about my art stuff. And then sadly, we took the focus away from Jay, and the focus went on me, and then we started filming my stuff because I think Khalil really enjoyed and loved my art, and he saw something there. And then I became part of the film, and then I became part of the friend group, and it started from there. All started just because I said yes to something that I wasn't sure of. You know, that's something what I always try to do is I always make myself uncomfortable because, like I said, you don't know who you might meet. And that's the whole, yes.
There's been so many times in my life that I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because I've always had that kind of social anxiety, right? Like I've always been that awkward kid that's like,
no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Creative at the same time, like there's, you know, it just kind of maybe in my own little world. I'm an Aquarius, so that's my sign is an Aquarius. So I'm kind of can be aloof and kind of in my own little world sometimes. So,
no, I know, I totally understand. You know, so I get it because I'm like that too because I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't really want to socialize. Because sometimes I don't want to socialize. But at the end of the day, when I get out there and I meet people, I'm like, I'm so glad I met these people. They always are there for a reason.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you're kind of like, okay, I got over it, It's just that I think it's that little voice in your head that tells you, like, no, you can't, like, you can't socialize, like, you're not, what are you going to say? You're just going to say a bunch of gibberish. You're going to be awkward.
Right.
And it's never like that.
No, it's not. And it is amazing. It's when you trust, when you trust that things happen organically and that, you're in this flow, this, just this energy that you're
and you also have to trust your intuition too,
Intuition.
Like, intuition about a person.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, so that's what I follow a lot. If I'm not comfortable, if something tells me no, then I wouldn't have never went.
Right.
But it was just the fact that I kind of already, I felt already safe, and I felt like it was going to be something new and exciting.
Right.
Rather than something that wasn't safe for me.
Yeah.
And then plus it was in public, so I was like, I should be fine. If something happens.
And you had a good time, and you met people that you would have never even met if you didn't make that choice.
Yeah.
So it is an intuitive level where you're like, do I go? Do I not go?
Yeah. And if I wouldn't have met you either.
Yeah,
So it's just this little connections that I think are so great.
It's so the spirit is always orchestrating. I truly believe that. Like, I look back upon my life and I'm like, oh yeah, come on. And now it's like, if I wouldn't have agreed to host the event, I wouldn't have met everybody. You know what I mean? So it was like,
they're blessings in disguise.
Yeah, right. You just have sometimes you may not want to do something, but it's like the spirit pushes you to it. Even though you're telling yourself, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And that's your ego.
That's your little boy.
Yeah, that's that little guy, little
whatever
voice back here. Don't do that, don't do it, because that voice doesn't want you to. It doesn't want you to find your greatness. And it's like, once you understand we're in this amazing race called life, we step out and we step out on faith and we operate from a level of faith and not fear, things start to change in your life. And it's just this little change of the mindset, right? Like a little tweak, right? And
it's true. And then also because you talked about fear, and I just remembered when I didn't want to show my art ever. My art was hidden for years. But my aunt saw that I kept drawing and painting during that time when I was going through my issues when I was younger. This is before I was 25, so this is my early 20s. So I'm 31 now, I'm older. But anyways, and she was like, Xiadani, she goes, you need to show that. And I was like, no, I don't want people to see. It's like my diary. I was like, no, I don't want people to see this. It's embarrassing, This is sacred to me. It's personal. And she's like, how about I make the Instagram for you? So she made the account. It was under her. Originally, it was under her. And she goes, and I'll just post it. And I was like, okay, you post it, but I don't want to see nothing. Like, I don't want to know nothing. So she started posting it. She started posting my drawings, and people started following me, and then she would follow back. And it took me finally a year to finally was like, okay, can I actually take a hold of that account now? And she's like, yeah, go for it. Gave me my own account. It's under Nani, because that's what my family calls me, Nani. So we named my artist name Nani.
Yeah. And
then slowly I started noticing, like, my friends were like, oh, Xiadani, this is great. I love it. And I'm like, I was like, maybe I'm not scared no more. Like, I took the leap of faith and believed in myself. And I was like, okay, I'm not scared. I mean, I am a little bit, but not as much as I used to be. Like, I was ready to just take on my own account, take care of my own things. And then slowly I started doing that. And then it went from Instagram, then it went to making YouTube videos, posting myself actually painting, and like a time lapse. And then I ended up going on to bigger things, and then people were just amazed and loved my art. And then that's when I was like, okay, like I finally believe in myself, and people finally do too. And I think
That's
it's all
so
because of part of it
amazing.
I
Oh
took
my
up there.
God.
But for a long time, I didn't want to show it. I did not have control of that Instagram account. And it all started with my aunt was like, you need to show your art. And
Shout
that
out to
helped
your aunt.
tremendously.
Let's give a
Yeah,
shout out to the aunt
my
because
Tiara.
you know what? She was one of your earth angels that just kind of was like,
hmm Pushed me, you know?
you
She
needed
really,
that
really
little
pushed me.
push.
So, and then
Sometimes
once it
that's
started
what
happening with her, then my dad was like, oh, you paint really well, and got me my first easel. He set up all my things for me, and slowly my family was like, here you go, here's an extra paints if you want it. And then my friends like, we have extra canvases, well, take them. So it's really neat, that my friends and family were doing little things for me as well. So
they
that helped
believed in you. They
tremendously.
believe in you.
Yes.
So they're investing in you.
Uh-huh.
And they're sowing love into you.
Yes.
I love this. This is so
And then I love because
good.
my grandma and my tia Jenny would come to my art shows as well. And they're like, when's the art show? We're going to be there. It's amazing. Like my friends and my family supporting me helped tremendously a lot.
Yeah.
A
And
lot.
that's an amazing thing when you have people that support you. It really is, because it really it can lighten the load, right? Because when we're trying to like step out and do something, like even with this podcast, like, I'm new to this, so I'm learning, and everything I'm trying to tweak it, right? So in the beginning, someone had mentioned, well, why don't you do video? And I'm like, I don't.
Maybe not now, but maybe later.
Yeah,
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, recording with video is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
And a lot of things to learn. Because when I was doing YouTube videos, oh my gosh, the angle, make sure I have everything right, that it's looking at my painting. Like, it's just, video is tough. I don't blame you.
It's tough. And I'm like,
maybe in the future, though. I just addressed it, though.
Yeah. So I think, when I do record in the studios, obviously this is video. So you're going to be the first video.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I interviewed Illusion, who was part of the Enlightened group with the Real Book and Koki Vega and Marco Arto. I interviewed him last night, but this podcast is going to be released tomorrow, Sunday. And so you're going to be the first video.
Oh.
Podcast. First video, first remote, Yeah. So I'm just, I don't know. The video, I was just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
I'm an expressive person. So like, I make these faces and I'm like, I'm like intently like, and it's like something, it's like, what is going on?
And I'm just like straightening myself like, oh.
I'm an expressive person. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do video. But you know what? We're doing video.
I know.
Video. So
as much as I like acting, I don't like watching myself.
Right. Me
I don't know what it is.
It's part of that too, right? It's
I don't like
vulnerability. Like I'm putting myself out there. I know that I'm like, nerdy and goofy and all of this. I am. But I embrace that. I'm like, okay, it is what it is.
I know it's
something I've got to get over. I've got to get over. And I have to, because I eventually want to.
People like to see faces. They like to see the expressions. It feels more on a personal level, I feel.
Yeah.
So they like to feel human as well. Like, oh, we're all human. Like, we all different.
And if I'm gonna talk about, being authentic and all of these things and being mindful, people have to be, if I'm gonna be a coach and I'm gonna get into public speaking and things like this, I have to get comfortable with this, right? I have to be comfortable with being on video and talking about things. And so
And you
there's a
will.
learning curve with it,
Yeah.
right?
And you will. It just takes time.
It
The
does
more
take
you do
time.
it, the better you get better
Yeah, the
at it,
better
you know?
it's perfecting your craft. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so there's things, there's so many things, well, not so many things, but there's things that I want to,
Mm-hmm.
do as well. So it takes time
Yeah,
and
it does.
stepping in.
It did take me a
That's,
couple years too to, get everything
yeah,
right. And also it was a process to finally, like within a year, I saw a huge difference in my paintings and stuff like that.
yeah,
Oh, and then there's just so much learning to do. Even now, I'm still learning, I don't think that ever ends,
no,
It never ends.
it never ends, right?
Mhm.
It's
You
always
will
this
learn.
learning. It's a learning curve.
And it's not only in your skill, it's in life as well. Like it's
Right.
a process. I feel like it's never ending with personal growth,
Yeah.
And
It's an evolving thing. It's really cool though.
mhm.
And it's to be able to the whole thing about being mindful and being able to look back and you're like, wow, like all of this has happened in this short time. And then you realize, oh my gosh, I have done a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're like, give yourself a pat on the back because you're thinking, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, you have. Like everything, every little step is a step forward, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. I remember I had one of my friends. She's like, Xiadani, she goes, as soon as you turn after 25, your mentality changes a lot.
Big time.
And I think I was 21 at the time, and I was like, she's crazy. No, it was true. Oh my God, nothing compared to what I was when I was in my 20s.
Right.
And after I turned 25, towards the end of my 30s, changed completely. Your whole mindset changed, which I think it's great because, well, not everybody obviously, but from my experience, I grew up so much and I blossomed. And people saw that too. My friends were like, Xiadani, you just blossomed. I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it because I worked really hard.
Yes. Hard work pays off. Yeah. Hard work pays off, sister. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see where your career goes. I really think you are such a talented soul.
Thank you.
And I want to see. So if I wanted to see this movie, did you say what is it called? Pulse?
It was a short. It's a short. So it's called Pulse. You'll see it on IMDb. I don't know when it's gonna come out because right now it was on the movie theaters and LA Film Festival. So I'll double check with that to see when the final release is out.
Yeah. And so maybe
I don't know how it works with shorts.
Maybe when that happens, maybe put it on your Instagram. So share with people your Instagram handle so that they can kind of keep an eye out for that. And unless if they've got any connections. Who knows, right? Yeah. Maybe they can find the movie, but or the short. I would love to see it. So I'm so excited for you. I do have to say that, like, I did see some of the scenes from The Point of the Pen. Really good, like just really good work that Khalil did. Like he did a really good, like he was just meticulous and everything just flows, right? It just, he's a talented soul. He really is. He's a talented soul.
And what makes it better is that he's just such a sweet and kind person. And he just guides you and be like, hey, can you do this, please? Can you do that? Yeah. And he's just so chill to be around. I enjoy his presence, Yeah. So he makes it better by just him being him as a person as well, Right. So that helps a lot.
We talked about that on the podcast, like how he has this gift of bringing people together. And he's just such a great
he's definitely visionary. A good people. Yeah, he's
this visionary. Like I know what I want. I know how I want it to look, and you're like sitting outside of it. And you're like, you may, and
At
that's
first you're like, wait, what?
that's
You
what's
want me
so
to do
cool
this?
about it. Well, that's what's so cool about creating, because it's like it's your vision, and people may not see that vision, but then they start to come into the vision, and then they're
And
like,
then you start to
oh my
understand
God,
it. Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for him. I really am. I'm excited for him and to see where he goes with his film career. He's an amazing talent. He's an amazing writer, amazing producer, and he dabbled a little bit in hip hop, and I often say to him, I'm like, whoa, Khalil, like he can spit. He can spit
Oh,
some
yeah.
rhymes. And I'm like, what? Like I compare, I don't want to compare him to anybody because I think that he's his own uniqueness, but like he's up there with people in the mainstream, big time. Like he's a talent, and the things that he raps about and has over his entire career, like social issues, and just really just a very conscious soul about the things that are going on and the suffering that had been created in this like fear-based system that we live in, that we're rebelling against, right? Because we're like, no, we want love, peace, kindness, and understanding. Like enough of that. So I think once we project what we have inside, and we learn to love ourselves, and we start to project that into the world.
Oh, yeah, that's a big
It's going to
thing.
be such a beautiful thing.
It sounds so cliche, it really does, but it's so true. You have to love yourself,
big time.
Yeah. And I wish someone would have told me that when I was younger, but it's all right. I learned later on.
It's a process, and it's a process for everybody, right? And some people learn it early, and some people learn it later in life, but it's a process. And I think once you get to there, and you really are coming from a place of healing, because I think healing, I don't say healed because I don't think we're ever healed, but we're on this journey of this continuum,
ongoing healing,
right? Yeah. And we may have to come back and visit, like, ooh, wait a minute, that kind of, what's going on there? Maybe I haven't healed that little piece. Okay, well, let's go back and let me heal that. So, no, he's a beautiful soul, and I had an opportunity to do a voiceover on the film, and that was my first. That was my first voiceover, and I'm like,
oh, nice.
Khalil's like, he's like, dude, he's like, you're good at this. Maybe you should do something. And I'm like, maybe I should. So,
hey, cool. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. So did a little bit of, being myself in the film. And I guess, I'm not acting, but I'm following his lead as far as like what he wants you to say and things like that. But I'm being myself. So
that's good. I'm glad.
It was fun.
Like you had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You had fun, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do that again. I think it would be such a fun thing.
So many stuff going on for voiceovers.
Yeah.
All the time in like Actors Access. And we need a voiceover for this to narrate this,
Really?
So yeah, they have stuff all the time for voiceovers.
So I probably need to touch base with you, because I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I have no clue. And it's like, and that's okay. Because it's like, okay, now I've identified something that, I'm good at, that I like doing. And so the next step is to, admit I don't know anything about it, don't know where to start, and start reaching out and asking people where to start. So like, any advice that you can give me, or any point me in the right direction.
Well, I know for sure it would be a good idea to have what is it? A voice teacher
Yeah,
to
yeah,
help you hit
yeah,
those tones,
yeah,
because you're going to be using your voice a lot, how to take
right,
care of it.
yeah.
So definitely that's like the number one thing, of course. And then
I
after
have
that,
somebody in mind.
okay, good.
I had somebody in mind for that. Yeah,
Okay, good.
I was working with a vocal coach. She's actually one of my instructors through the Newman Institute. And so, Avesa Love, let's give a shout out to Avesa. Her and her husband, they just moved to Hawaii. They also sing, they're singer-songwriters. They're also breathwork facilitators with the Newman Institute. So,
Nice.
so I've done some coaching with her.
Oh, good.
And and she's also a yoga instructor. She
Okay.
wears many hats. So she has a unique way of vocal coaching where it's about the breath. And
Okay.
she's a
Yeah.
breathwork
Oh, really?
facilitator about the breath. So
Oh, I
I'm
didn't.
like, when you just said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have somebody. So I just need to get tied in with her. And she's in Hawaii, but we can work on Zoom. Her and I worked on Zoom before.
I believe in a lot of training, a lot of
Yeah,
training,
yeah,
because you never know. And same thing for like art and acting. Like you always have to just train yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Just allow yourself to make those mistakes, because that's just a part of learning,
Right.
you
And just
But
keep going.
and just keep, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's tough. There's a lot of rejection,
Yeah,
but I mean that's just part of life. And
yeah,
like I said, I was just telling myself, I'm just playing this game called life, I'm trying to just enjoy it, see how far I can go, how far the universe will take me as well,
exactly, right.
So
Just
I'm just playing.
chilling, like just chill,
Just
sit
being
back,
chill,
not
relaxing.
take life so seriously, and
Um,
do the things that you love, right? Like,
yeah.
and I'm so glad that you had mentioned in the beginning nature, because there's a disconnect, right? There's been such a disconnect because we're like, go, 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 go. We really have to make the effort to get into nature, because this is where the spirit like talks to us, right? And in its own special way, right? The spirit has its own special way. It's a unique
And
experience
honestly,
for
being
everyone.
too serious was like mentally draining me. Especially because I would take it way too serious. I would go to work, stay up late, wake up early again, just YouTube videos, video editing, wouldn't go anywhere, wouldn't do nothing. My family would be like, oh, let's go out to dinner. No, I have to work on stuff. I didn't allow myself for the first couple of years to enjoy as well my time with what I'm doing. Also my time with my family. Until finally I was like, I'm mentally breaking down because I'm just so focused on trying to make it that I'm like, I'm not even having fun. So then at the end of the day, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to allow myself to just enjoy, have fun, not take it seriously. Take those dinners when I want with my parents. Go see my friends for a bit, like support their stuff too as well. And then come back to my art and also just keep going, So it's finding balance as well.
Absolutely. And that's really what it's all about. Balance, moderation. Yeah. And I'm so glad that we had this conversation today, because I've been moving and I'm like kind of being pulled in so many different directions because I injured my neck during the beginning of this move, like in May. And so I had to it delayed the move a little bit, and had to go to Boise to get things. And so just so many moving parts and downsizing and all of these things, that it's just so much, right? Going on, that it can be very challenging to remain in the present, right? Because you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that, I got to, oh my gosh,
you're so busy.
and this and that, and it's like, okay,
it's too overwhelming.
So it was wild last weekend. My sister-in-law, and God bless her, she's been with me. That's my ride or die. I'm giving a shout out to my sister-in-law, Jen. She is my ride or die. That's my best friend. She's been with me the entire journey. She's been here, any waking moment to help me. And
Okay.
and had she not, I don't know what I would have done, because I'm
It's good
like,
to
this
have
is
that one person you can lean on,
yes,
you know?
it's exhausting, right?
I
You
know.
know?
Life can be exhausting. I don't blame you. They
Yeah.
hit you with these
So
curveballs and you're like,
I
what? I was like,
know.
everything was just peaceful. Like, where is this
Right.
curveball coming from?
Yeah.
Like, why this closed door?
Yeah.
But it's always one door closes and another
Yeah.
one opens.
It sure does.
You know?
And listening to your intuition. So into my, the spirit was like, no, like, you need to chill. So Sunday, totally laid in bed all day,
Good.
just
Good.
kind of
You have to
rest,
listen to your body.
rest. And I was
Hmm.
exhausted. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I need to slow down,
Yeah.
recoup.
Hmm.
And so it's listening a
No,
lot of
yeah,
the
it's true.
times.
That's something I had to balance and I had to learn was rest is okay.
Yep,
It will still be there waiting for me.
yep.
You know, the opportunities will still be there. They're
They'll
not
still
gonna
be there.
run.
No, nothing's going away. It's still here.
Yeah.
It's still there for you to take. It's just, you
Hmm.
have to take care of
Yeah, and at
ourselves.
the end of the day, you have to say, like, this is for me, not for
Yep.
anybody else. Because at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
think I was doing it to prove it, to prove
Right.
something to everybody. I'm like,
Yeah.
for what? Like, why?
Right. Like, what am I
Reason
proving?
to. This is for me. This
Yep.
is for my happiness.
Yeah.
So that took some time too to just
Yeah.
readjust my mind and be like, no, like
Yeah.
rest is okay. Opportunities will be there. You're
Opportunities.
allowed to take that time off.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
so
Good.
the
Good.
focus. Yeah.
Well, beautiful soul, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me. And
Thank you
just,
for having.
I'm gonna pop your art in there too, because I want to have that. So, yeah. So
Thank
people
you
can
so
see
much.
that.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you, honey. And so share real quick your Instagram and your YouTube, all your social media, so people can go and follow you.
So my Instagram is she.is.nani. And Nani
Okay.
is Nani. And when you go on my Instagram, it actually has everything on my links to my portfolio and as well as my
Perfect.
YouTube.
Link to
Because
the
I feel like
bio.
YouTube doesn't monetize you yet until finally when you're monetized, then they give you your own link. So I have
Awesome.
this long link from YouTube. So definitely just
Right.
click on the
Amen.
Instagram.
I
Click
have
on
the
the link
same
because
thing,
it's enough for
sister.
me to say.
I have the same thing. We're in the same boat. One day we will. One
Yes.
day it's coming.
Mm-hmm. When
So
you're
thank
ready.
you so much, and go
Thank
and
you.
enjoy your day. Go and enjoy that amazing Southern California sun.
Girl, it's hot over here, but I will. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so
God
much.
bless. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know. I don't know how to work this thing.
Ah,
Oh my God.
there's maybe a little dot at the bottom. Oh, there's your art. Show the art real quick.
Oh,
Oh, yay! See, things
that's the
happen for a reason.
art.
That's spirit saying, no, let her show her art. Oh my
The
God, I
art.
love it.
And I just have
So
one more over
much.
here.
Oh yes, that was the one that I saw in the interview in Pasadena. What's the name of this one here?
This one's the Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah, that's right.
That
So
one's
cool. So cool.
love, 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 love. Love, love, love.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Amazing.
Thing.
Amazing.
I appreciate it.
You're
I'll talk.
welcome, honey.
I'll talk to you
Okay.
soon. All
We'll see you
right,
soon.
bye.
Bye. All right. She is Nani. Wow, what a great podcast. I'm pleased about that podcast. She's an amazing soul. Make sure that you follow her. So much for listening. This is the Pursuit of Truth podcast with Faye. Until next time, take care of yourselves. God bless. Step into your greatness and do the work that your soul is calling you to do.
We touched base when Khalil was filming the point of the pen.
Unveiling the layers of lies, breaking free from the disguise. In the depths where it lies, I can see it in your eyes. You once believed the lies, but now there's no disguise.